Alright, Nürburgring Lap Guide. This is my second attempt at recording this, and hopefully the audio is less fucked this time, because I took precautions. This is from the AI session that we ran on May 12th. So track temps were not too bad, 33 Celsius. This was the 6th of 9 laps on the stint. Definitely some time to find on the lower fuel, but I just took off tracks and generally didn't have a good time for those last couple of laps. There's a lot of time in the GP circuit. I'm definitely still learning this layout of the GP. So, grain of salt on all of that. And I'm going to give mostly conservative brake markers through most of this. Again, this is a 24-hour race, and we want to treat it as such. And lastly, aside from the GP circuit, unless I specifically call out a curb, try not to hit the curbs. Most of them you can't hit, and they'll put you in the wall. So, without further ado, let's get into turn one. So coming across the line, we'll take 5th, and coming into turn 1, typically I'll break it around just before the 100-meter board. We want to carry a little less speed through the 24-hour layout as compared to the VLN layout, just because of that left-hander on exit here. So down into a late first gear, keeping first through the left-hander, and then hammer on the power as early as we can, try to keep the rear end under control. If you brake too hard into turn 1, you're going to diff lock and you're going to go around, so really try to back that up a bit if you need to. 115 is really not bad. Braking at the end of the cones here, just dragging out it a little bit, keeping third gear. Want to hug the left side, don't track out too wide, so we want to carry some speed in second around the right-hander here. And get up on this curb on exit. I didn't there, but any of the green stuff is generally safe within the GP circuit. Coming down the hill, you can actually get up on this curb on the left here, so definitely put 2 tires on there to open up the corner a bit. We're going to go all the way down into second gear here, and what I'm looking for is there's a little dark patch in the sand on the exit of the corner. That's just center of the screen now. If you track that to the left A-frame pillar, right when it gets to that pillar, that's when you can start to get on the power real good, and that'll help keep you from tracking out too wide, as I do here, and getting into the sand almost. You can take a bit of that curb, but you don't really want to be too heavy on it because you'll just scrub speed. Same thing with the curbs through the little left-right up here. I'm not going to call this a chicane because it's flat out, but try to stay off the curbs because all you're going to do is scrub speed. Into this left-hander, I brake at about 80 meters. Take the curb on the entry, and be careful not to take the off-track on exit. Get over to the left, and just a drag of the brakes in third to carry speed around the right-hander and all the way down the hill. There's another one where we are really conscious about scrubbing speeds, real gentle inputs through the kink. And up into this chicane, braking at about 40. Hard on the brakes down into third, take a bit of curb on both sides, and up to the promised land. Coming into the left-hander here, we're down into second. Good amount of speed that you can carry through here. You rarely won't track out and hit the wall. And then you want to come all the way to the right side into that pit exit area, open up the corner through Sabina Schmitz, and stay off the curb on exit, and all the way down the hill. You can keep it tighter than I do here. You've got more grip than necessary with this car. Not thanks to any downforce, but just it's slow. Coming up through the gears, and then I'm braking at about the end of the white here, so there's a bunch of markings on the track. And go hard on the brakes initially, come off it through the first apex, hard again, all the way down to third, back on the power. Through this corner, I will sometimes brake. I think here I just kind of lift it, a little drag of the brakes there. Either commit to that curb on the right side there or avoid it entirely. I got lucky here by doing the little half thing here. If you get 2 wheels all the way up on the curb, it can open up the entry into the left-hander, and you can kind of take that without braking. But if you clip the curb or if you miss it entirely, you might need to drag the brakes a little bit coming around the left. Get on the power nice and early, and if you come through that in second gear, you can leave it in second down this short little straightaway. If you're in third, you are going to need to downshift into the right-hander here, get up on this curb, 2 wheels all the way up on the flat part, stay off the left side curb, and we're flat down the hill. And here we're going to see the first instance of a little bit of a pattern with this car on the Nürburgring, which is that you don't really always want to shift into 5th. So we're going to, well, I shifted into 5th here as I say that. Generally, I'm going to take that hill in 4th gear. If I'm later on fuel, if I'm in a big tow, it might be 5th, but when we're going up the hills, 4th gear is just faster. Coming down the hill, we'll take 6th here, and it's going to be flat all the way around this left-hander. And then hard on the brakes right where the pavement kind of changes colors here. Down into third. You can take second here if you need. Stay off that exit curb. And down the hill. Now coming into Foxhole, this is one of the trickier sequences of corners, especially at the top of the hill. I tend to get caught out a lot here. Coming in 6th gear, this is going to be very fast, especially with the toe. You need to know where this apex is, and you can't see it on entry. So this is a corner that you're going to want to abuse the active reset, really get to know it. You want to get 2 wheels up on this curb. You can just lift coming into it, and then hard on the brakes. Down to 4th. Give it a little gas around the right-hander, but then you're back on the brakes again, down to 2nd. Try to get close to that curb. You can get up on the exit here, but try not to do too much. It doesn't really give you too much time. And then we're flat again. We'll be flat through the first of the 2 lefts here, and then I generally will use on the right side here, there's kind of a flat curbing on the exit. You can see it just over the hood. I use that as a braking reference, and I would guess it's about 2 car lengths or so afterwards that I brake coming into this corner. Hard down to 3rd. Stay off of this exit curb because it'll fling you into that wall. Stay on it down the hill. And there's about that motorcycle sign on the left side there. That's about where I brake, maybe a little after that. Take it down a gear into 2nd. And late apex. Don't get up on that exit curb because once again, you'll hit the wall. And 3rd, use this little banking in the corner here. Into miss, hit miss. Just a gentle brake. Kind of drag it a little bit. You can get on the power right nice and early when you hit the hit. Miss that 3rd apex. Stay out of the grass on exit. Here I'm using the tire marks on the ground as braking reference. It's kind of hard to see in this view of it, but I guess when I'm driving I find it a little easier. Otherwise you can try to eyeball it from that black sign on the left side. This is the slowest corner through the whole Nordschleife, so you're coming all the way down to 1st gear. Try to keep it wide on entry here. And then late apex it. You can get on the power. I guess I took 2nd through here. A lot of times I'll take 1st. I think being later on fuel on this lap, I'm probably coming up to the next gear a little bit more, but I think it's going to be a little more questionable for most of the race. Going into this kink, I will look for the red and white striping curb on the right side there, braking at about the exit of it, or the end of it rather. This is another corner you carry too much speed and you're going to hit that wall on exit. I do that a lot. And I narrowly avoid doing it here. Carry a little bit less speed than that. Into this corner, this is just a lift. No braking, lift off, get back on the power, and go. If you hit the line right, that'll be fine. I got some nice uphills. Very important corner, we're braking at about the black sign on the right. You can keep 4th, 3rd also works. If I hit it perfectly, then 3rd is going to be great, or then 4th is going to be great rather, but I think a lot of that has to do with the toe, and this lap just wasn't having it, so 3rd gear out of the corner. Way up the hill. You're going to see me hit the red line here. Don't take 5th. I don't care if you have the toe. I don't care if the guy behind you is pushing you. Just don't. Keep it in 4th. All the way up. Through the fast left. Keep it flat. And again, using the painting on the road surface as braking reference, right kind of when it ends here, I'm heading on the brakes. Heavy, heavy, down into 2nd. Up into the carousel. Don't let the faster classes bully you out of the carousel here. Just hug the inside if you need to. We're going to leave it in 2nd for this. I'm getting on the power about halfway through the carousel. Let that banking carry you around and then chuck you back out. And we're getting up to the highest point of the track here, so we're going to take 4th, but through this little left-hander, left-right sequence up here, you're going to bog down a bit. And so you'll see me actually downshift into third a lot of the time here, right between these two corners. It'll take, you might have to spam it a couple of times, but you can just flat foot downshift, and you see it actually comes off of the limiter as we come up over Hoakt. Braking into the right-hander. And we're flat down the hill. And it's mostly downhill from here on out. And this is a sequence where people are going to gain or lose a lot of time. So this, I learned this whole sequence of corners using the 3 trees method. The idea is that consider this little straightaway. We're going to kind of deviate from it and come back to it 3 times. And each time we're doing it, you can picture it as if we are doing a little right, left, left, right. And we're making a little cutout to go around a tree. And each time that tree gets a little bit bigger. We're not talking about any of the trees in particular. This is just an imaginary tree that's right at the end of this straightaway here. So come up to the smallest tree, and you're going to be flat through the right-hander here. Big lift. Try to get up on this curb. I kind of whiffed it a little bit. If you get on that curb, you can come at a better angle to get on the second curb on the right here. You can take both of those very fast down the hill, and that's our first tree. So we're on our straightaway. We're going trees on our left. Tree's still on our left. Now the tree's behind us. Small tree is done. Now we'll move on to the medium tree. So this one we're coming down the hill in 4th gear. We're going to brake, take third. I should have taken third here. And imagine that tree is on our left now. This is the medium tree. Because I didn't take third there, I'm braking about the black sign and coming down into third here. Again, use the banking and carry a good bit of speed here. Get up on the curb on the left side here. That tree is still to our left. On that flat curb on the left, we're going to quick stab at the brakes. You don't have to bleed too much speed here, but you want the front end to kind of bite in so you can come around this corner very fast. And we're on the straightaway once again. So 2 trees down, largest tree left to go. Coming in third, kind of using the end of the curb as a braking reference. Probably when there's about 4 squares left, I'll come on the brakes. And we're going to keep it in third through this whole sequence. If you get the speeds right, you can keep third. If you're a little slow, second gear is also good. Stay off that curb because it'll chuck you into the sand. Third gear. There's a little crease in the track there. You can use that as a braking reference. I'm about 1/4 of a car length past that. I'm on the brakes, keeping third. You can get up on this curb on the right side here just to keep it flat. You want to carry a lot of speed because you've got a nice flat section down here. And we are finally around that third tree. That's the 3 trees method. Coming over the jump. Just a dab of the brakes. You're going to have to brake a bit harder with the toe there. That can be a really tricky corner when you're in the run. And then it's flat all the way down the hill through the S's. Nearly there. So into this corner, kind of a drag of the brakes again when the markings on the track surface kind of go away. I keep learning how much faster I can take this corner, so I'm finally taking it in 5th now, and then downshift after it using the, again, braking reference being the white markings on the track. I'm about a 1/2 car length after that. Down into third here. On the power nice and early. And coming up into the second carousel, the Klein carousel. This is going to be third gear. Second gear is also good if you find yourself getting chucked out of the exit and into the wall on the right side, then come down into second and just take a little bit less speed. I found that I could take third by getting really tight onto the curb on the bottom, try to almost like barely getting my right tires onto the lighter patch of concrete on the outside of the carousel. Use that banking, chuck you on out. We'll come out of it in third gear, and we will be flat for about a day and a half. Flat through these corners. This one feels like you might understeer and end up going into the wall, but you're only doing that because you're coming over a little crest there. Now the road surface is coming up towards you. That front end is going to grip up, and you're going to have no problem keeping it flat around that corner and all the way up the hill. Come up to this hill in 5th gear. This one, I said before, never to shift into 5th on the other big hill. This one you can take 6th if you have a big toe, especially from another 8.6. If you're getting the toe from another class, it's probably going to go away before it's worth taking 6th. And if you don't take 6th, you leave it in 5th like I did here all the way up the hill, I would recommend just leaving it in 5th on the downhill. You'll touch the limiter in the compression down here, but I don't think it's worth downshifting and then, or upshifting and then downshifting again. And then coming into the last sequence of corners here, I break it about where the concrete kind of changes colors, maybe a little after then. And you want to get all the way on the left side here. You can come even further left than I did. Get like half your car out on the outside of that white line, come down into either 3rd or 2nd. And another curb that you either want to commit to or don't take at all. I probably should have taken a little bit more, but ended up okay. And then on the power, nice and early, it's flat through the last corner here. And there you go. That's a lap of the Nürburgring, and that's a 9:57 point something or other.